Hello everyone, Thunder Phoenix UK here. How are we doing? I hope you're all well. So, I'm back with another video. Now, you may remember I did a video a few days back where I talked about the Game of the Year award nominees. And yeah, I was a little bit disgruntled about, a couple of the games that were there. And since then, there has actually been another Game Awards. There's actually been the Golden JoyStick Awards. And I figured sometimes looking at the Golden JoyStick Awards, you can sort of get a little bit of an insight as to where the sort of general public and people are going to be voting for certain games in certain categories, because a lot of them sort of all fall into the same ones that are in the Game Awards too. So what I thought we'd do is I thought we'd go through the actual winners list. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open the Wikipedia page and we're going to go through the category and the winner for each one. So let me just start off by first off switching over to this, and then you should be able to see the Wikipedia list. Now, the one above, ignore this one, the one above is the 2023 one. We're concentrating on the very bottom of the page. We're going to be looking at the 2024 list, and I am going to just scroll down ever so slightly so you can see the first winner. Also, I should mention that the event was actually hosted by Ben Starr. Now, if you don't know who Ben Starr is an absolute legend, right? So Ben Starr voiced obviously the main lead character in Final Fantasy 16, as well as he's also got a couple of other voice acting other work coming up, including a game called Expedition 33. Yeah, he's just a great down to earth guy, and yeah, honestly, it sounded like he was a great host, and he even came out with a belter of a comment where he basically turned around and said that one of the only tragedies is that we don't have Bloodborne in 60 FPS, and I giggled at that, and I was like, well, I guess you're not going to be appearing in Bloodborne too then, right? It is funny. I think it's really funny. So the first winner of the night, I think this was for best storytelling, okay? And that award went to... Oh, I'm skipping ahead there. I want to see if I can get it down by a little bit. There we go. So, best storytelling, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't see a surprise in this category. It's like best storytelling, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay, the storytelling in the game is really good. So yeah, best storytelling, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm happy enough with that. The next one on the list was then best visual design, and as you can see, that was Black Myth Wukong. So best visual design, Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, okay. I've not played it, but I've heard that it is a very beautiful looking game in parts, and it looks really nice in parts, and some of the character designs, especially the enemy designs, the monsters, are done really, really well. So, okay. Best multiplayer game. Oh, skipping them again. It's so hard to scroll through this list. Helldivers 2. Now, coincidentally, Helldivers 2 is actually in the same category for the Game Awards. Now, is this sort of a precursor? Do we think Helldivers 2 is going to win best multiplayer game? In fact, yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's in the multiplayer category. So, I mean, I've got to throw my hands up. When Helldivers 2 was at the peak, it was one of the... And, to some people, it is still a great multiplayer game to play. So, yeah, not surprising to see that win there. What else have we got? We've then also got Best Audio Design, which went to Astrobot. I also do believe in the Game of the Year Awards, Astrobot is also in that category. I want to say it's in there for the soundtrack and audio design too. So again, is that sort of a precursor? Is that like ooh. So it's won Best Audio Design here. Do we think it's going to win Best Audio Design, like, at the Game Awards? It potentially could. There's nothing to say it couldn't. So next one on the list is then Best Game Expansion. Now, Best Game Expansion. I nearly said Lord of the Rings then. Jeez. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Take note of the award, Best Game Expansion. And this is a game, and I think this was one of the, well, it was one of the ones I mentioned in the video for the Game Award nominees, that I was sort of like, wait, why is this in there as a full game when it's quite clearly even labelled here, Best Game Expansion? Which it quite clearly was going to win because it's made a great game a better game. So, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, where I said, why is there not a category at the Game of the Year Awards for Best Game Expansion? Because quite clearly Elden Ring would win that. But no, it's in the Game of the Year category, which I don't agree with. Right. Best Indie Game, self-published. Another Crab's Treasure. Now, I haven't played this. I've watched people play it, and it looks a fantastic game. It sort of is basically, from what I could see, Dark Souls, but with a crab. So, yeah, and it looks fun enough. And I think, again, best indie game self-published. I think that's a win. I think that's a great game to win that category. Now, best indie game, Balatro. Another game in the Game of the Year category, but also very much a game that's also in the indie category for Game of the Year. So, again, I can so easily see Balatro picking up. Again, not a game I played. I could see this winning Best Indie Game at the Game of the Year Award. So, this could be double bubble for Balatro. You know, Golden JoyStick Award, then a Game of the Year Award for Best Indie. It definitely won't win the Game of the Year Award. Like I say, I just don't think it's strong enough in its category with the other games that are in there to win Game of the Year. So, the next one is then Studio of the Year, and that went to Team Asobi. Obviously, the developers of Astrobot. And I mean, congratulations, because I think Astrobot, as I've mentioned, it's a fantastic game. It's full of nostalgia, and you can tell that the studio and the guys at Team Asobi have put so much love into it. They put so much, thoughts into like bringing these characters that have been, sort of not forgotten by time, but they're just there, and it's like they've been brought back and stuff. And it's like, I'll even admit, some of the characters when I was playing through Astrobot, I didn't even remember some of them, and yeah, it was just a fantastic game to play. Right, best soundtrack, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Again, I am pretty sure that Rebirth is also in the same category for the Game of the Year Awards. So, potentially, we could see Rebirth, and again, double bubble winning that. Right, best game trailer, Helldivers 2. Now, I remember the trailer for Helldivers 2. And, it just screamed freedom and just all that goodness that you would expect from a Helldivers game. And yeah, and I must admit, I thought the trailer for this was great. I thought it brought a comical aspect, but at the same time, it sort of made me think like, yeah, I want to play that. That's a game I want to play with friends. You know what I mean? And I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm happy to see Helldivers 2 win Best Game Trailer. Right, next category after that is then Best Early Access Game, which was won by Lethal Company. Again, game I've not played, but I've watched many, many people on Twitch and many, many people on YouTube play it, and it looks as like a group game, a group of friends playing it. Looks a lot of fun. And I didn't actually realise it was released in early access October 2023. Never knew that. And then, as you can read from like the context, it gained popularity on the Steam storefront. More people started to play it, and it just got better and more people playing it. So yeah, best early access game, Lethal Company. Still Playing Award, mobile, Honkai Railstar. Now, never played it. I don't actually know many people who have. So I can't really say much about that other than, okay, I thought there might have been a PUBG Mobile maybe, or a Call of Duty or an Apex sort of vote there for Still Playing Award, but obviously it still obviously must be a popular game on mobile, Honkai Railstar. Alright, Still Playing Award PC and console, Minecraft. not to be surprised by that at all. I mean, Minecraft has been going for so long now. I think it's just built up such a cult following, like on PC and on console. You know, people are building towns and building like skyscrapers together and creating such wonderful things and stuff. I'm not surprised to see that as like top of the list as they're still playing PC and console award. Right, the Streamer's Choice Award. So I think this went to a game that streamers found themselves playing a lot with friends, and it basically become really popular on streaming platforms too. And that was Chained Together. And again, I'm totally not surprised by this. I've watched many people playing Chained Together, and it's provided a lot of comedy moments, and it's been fun to watch. So I'm not surprised to see Chained Together win that. Right, Breakthrough. So the game that won Breakthrough was Balatro. Again, not surprised. I know from what is an indie game, it's definitely had a lot of people playing it. A lot of people have been really, happy with, the way the game's played and their experience playing it and stuff. So again, I'm not surprised that it's won the Breakthrough Award. So again, I mean, is that again Balatro just up there? Just letting people know I am here, and that's why I'm in the Game of the Year category award. Best gaming hardware, the Steam Deck OLED. Again, I'm not surprised by this. I've got many friends who all own a Steam Deck, and they're constantly telling me, look, as a gamer, it's a device that, especially if you've got Steam, is great because there are so many games that you can just play on it, and they play really well. And if you've got a Steam library of a ton of games, it's really handy for when you're on the go. You can literally just play whatever games you want to play that you'd normally be sat down at the PC playing, except you're on a portable, and it makes a lot of sense. So next category, the best game adaptation. So I want to say this was the category where they take a game series and turn it into a TV series or movie or whatever, and unsurprisingly, the winner was Fallout. I mean, I've watched Fallout. I think it's fantastic. I think it stays true to the Fallout universe, and I can only imagine where it's going to go going forward. But yeah, it was what I expected of a Fallout TV series. I can only imagine where it's going to go. No, I can't imagine where it's going to go. But yeah, so best game adaptation, Fallout. Best supporting performer was Brianna White, aka Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, I don't know who else was in. The thing is with most of these, for like the winners, I actually don't know who was in the category. So I don't actually know who they were up against and stuff like that, along with the games that have been obviously the winners above and stuff like that. But fantastic to see Brianna White win it. I thought, over it, in VA as Aerith, she's just been fantastic, and she brought Aerith to life, and it's just been great, and yeah, it was really nice to see her win that. And then straight after, best lead performer, Cody Christensen, who actually voices Cloud in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, Rebirth picking up a few awards, not just the game. Obviously, it won best storytelling, it won best soundtrack. It's people who are part of it, the performers, actually picking up awards as well. It just goes to show you how much of an impact that they've had on people who played the game. PC Game of the Year was Satisfactory. A game I've not played, but I've heard it's a really fun game. And I know a lot of people on Steam especially play it. I can't really comment on that too much because, like I say, I've not played it. Console Game of the Year. Now, this one was a bit of a surprise when I read this. Helldivers 2. For a game that launched really well and then had a bit of controversy, I find it like crazy that won console game of the year. But then, in a strange sense, I don't, because it did so well on console. But then I was like, well, there's other games that have been out on console. So for this to win console game of the year, I think that's a fantastic, like that's a big win. And already, like I say, you look above, it's won best multiplayer game, it's won best game trailer, and there it wins best console game of the year. So it's like, wow, okay. Next one after that was the Critics' Choice Award, and again, Helldivers 2. And it's like, wow, okay, so it wins console game of the year, then Critics' Choice Award, it then wins that too. So it's been a good year for Helldivers 2, despite obviously a couple of dips. It's actually been a pretty solid, it's picked up a couple of really good awards. Then the next game, this, no surprise. Most Wanted Game, Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, I don't even think I need to speak much about this, but we know, right? There's definitely a lot of people who are waiting for this game. And I know on that poster for it, it's got coming 2025. But I definitely, from speaking to people, especially when I've been streaming, and their sort of feel about the date on it, I can't help but feel a few people still think it's going to slip to 2026. Part of me hopes it doesn't, because I would like to play this. If this comes out fall 2025, the question will be next year, we'll be asking ourselves about around this time is it Game of the Year? Could it potentially come out at a point where it's too late for the Game of the Year awards? Or is it going to come out in that period where we'll still have enough time to have played it and been like, oh my god, this is like the Game of the Year? I guess we'll find that out next year. And then finally, the final one of the night, which was the ultimate game of the year. Black Myth Wukong. Now, this is in the Game of the Year award category. And I do remember saying that I didn't feel like I said I didn't feel like Final Fantasy Rebirth had a chance. And I don't think Astrobot will win Game of the Year, sadly. I'd love Astrobot to win Game of the Year. Trust me, I would. Is this a precursor? Is Black Myth Wukong going to win Game of the Year? Because it certainly won Ultimate Game of the Year with, obviously, the golden joysticks. I think it's quite fascinating. The fact that won Ultimate Game of the Year, I'm fascinated by that. Because, as I say, you've only got to look at the other categories where other games have won. So obviously Black Myth Wukong won Best Visual Design. And then nothing else after that. But then Ultimate Game of the Year. And then you look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Best Storytelling, Best Soundtrack. The two lead VAs end up winning awards. But it doesn't win Ultimate Game of the Year. And I can't help but feel, is this what we're going to see at the Game of the Year awards? Are we going to see Astrobot pick up probably like Best Audio Game? It'll probably win Best Family Game, but it won't win Game of the Year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will probably end up winning Best Soundtrack, Best Storytelling, and awards like that, but it won't win Game of the Year. Black Myth Wukong will probably pick up maybe Best Visual Design at the Game of the Year awards, if I can't remember if it's in that category, and maybe one other award, but then win Game of the Year. I can't help but feel Black Myth Wukong may actually be the choice. May not be the popular choice by everyone, but I can't help but feel like it could potentially be the Game of the Year 2024. But it's only potentially, because obviously it's going to go down to the voting ultimately, isn't it? And I know it's obviously journalists and fans as well, but I guess we're going to see. Yeah, just like I say, it just, when I seen that won that. I was just fascinated by it. I was like, okay, Ultimate Game of the Year, Black Myth Wukong. So yeah, interesting. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Anyway, I mean, are there any surprises in this list that you see and you're like, okay, I wouldn't have had that like pinned down for that. And you know, do we think Black Myth Wukong is going to be Game of the Year? I guess we're going to find out soon enough. Thank you very much for watching, and please, if you haven't already, please hit the follow button. Please check out some more of the content on the page. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. See you soon. Bye for now.